Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone today? Today, my topic is, well, this is something that I've been thinking about, and I've been watching videos of all these Karens out there who are calling the police on people of color, because they're walking their dog or they're, having a barbecue in a park. Um, just basically trying to um, go about their business, living their lives. And also, just continuing looking at and hearing stories of, more people of color who are not only, being, you know, um, executed, because I do believe they are executions, by the police, um, but also just character assassinations. And yesterday I was talking about stereotypes and how we must get past the stereotypes, how stereotypes of people of color have been so ingrained in this country that, people believe that, you walk into an elevator, there's a black man or, a black woman, whatever, I got to hold my purse tighter or whatever. And it's funny because a lot of these Karens who are complaining that you don't belong in this building, I'm fearing for my life, but yet you're going to get on an elevator, like fourth floor Becky, you're going to get on an elevator and follow this person up to see where they live. So if you're so concerned, about your, if you're so concerned about your life, you're about to get killed. Oh my God. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Because we just want to mind our own business. So that leads me into the topic of, my topic for the day is I believe, this is again, all of this is just my own particular beliefs, that every person in America should experience some level of discrimination. Every person in America should experience some level of discrimination for at least 1 year. And hold on 1 second, I have to respond to someone. Okay, so, people of color have gone through so much crap since we were brought over here during the Middle Passage. And people have written our narrative. When I say people, I am talking about white people. You have written our narrative in terms of how we should be, how you should talk, how you should dress, where you're going to live, what you're going to eat, who you can be married to. In fact, we weren't even married. Who you're going to sleep with so we can have more babies and have more slaves for you. I mean, then as time goes on and we're freed, we still don't have freedoms because you're still trying to tell us what to do. So now we have people running around, with sheets over their head, telling us that you can't live here, you can't live there, you better get out of here, you better get out of town, or else we're going to lynch you. But you know what? We just may do it anyway because we think it's fun, you know. And then we move to, oh, you all are, you people are too successful. You're making too much money. So we're just going to destroy your entire town. It may have taken you years to build it up, but we're going to just destroy it within about 16 hours. And to really mess it up and destroy it, excuse my French, fuck it up, we're going to drop bombs. But while we're doing all that, and while we're killing you and destroying your entire, neighborhoods, we're going to steal from you. We are going to go into your homes. And whatever you have in your homes, we're going to take those. And along the way, maybe we'll rape your women too. Okay? Or let's move to Chicago. The race riots of 1919. I'm going to accuse you of swimming past this imaginary line. And because you did that, I'm going to kill you. How dare a Black person swim across this imaginary line in the ocean, in Lake Michigan, Lake Michigan. So let's have another riot. Let's kill some more Black people. Now, fast forward, another 100 years, and it's 2020. And our, young Black men and women are, and older, men, women, boys, children, are being executed and assassinated by the police. Now, I know police officers. No, all police officers are not bad, but I will say this, when I do ask them questions about what is going on, they want to co-sign. They want to co-sign, well, there was probably more to, oh, you don't understand, no, you have to understand, what we go through. Well, when the 4 police officers who murdered George Floyd turned in their report, they left out a lot of crucial shit, which was basically, we had, a knee on the neck and 3 more on his back for over 9 minutes. Instead, they said he resisted and he had a medical emergency. He was transferred to the hospital where he passed away. Had it not been for average citizens stepping up and filming that murder, you would have thought that George Floyd resisted arrest and had a medical altercation. Which brings me to Andrew Brown. There was no one filming that one, even though I'm really hoping somewhere someone has something. It's taken over 2 weeks for the family to see 18 minutes of body cam footage showing their loved one being shot in the back of the head, and the other bullets went into his arm. What's the problem? What are you covering up? So I say to white America, and I say to Asians, I say to Hispanics, walk in our shoes, people who look like me, walk in our shoes for 1 year. Walk in our shoes and experience the extreme levels of racism that we go through. I have experienced racism by white people. I've definitely experienced racism by Asians, and I've experienced racism by Hispanics. And on one hand, you look at it and I think it's funny, is laughable. But then it's like, really, am I really still dealing with this shit? It's funny how fast that Asian hate bill got through the House and the Senate. It's like that bill that was passed really fast. Meanwhile, for African Americans, we're still waiting. Civil rights have passed, and they're rolling them back, state by state by state by state by state. I don't think that, or nor do I condone what is going on with Asians. I think that is wrong. But on the same level, I'm a little pissed off that you want to kumbaya with Black Lives Matter and say, well, let's all get along. Let's be like Rodney King said, let's all get along. Let's put our differences aside and let's march together so we can have equality for everyone. No, it wasn't equality for everyone. It was equality for you. That bill that was passed, it wasn't for us, it was for you. It doesn't say Black Lives Matter, hate bill. It doesn't say people of color or minority bill. It says Asian. That bill was for you. It wasn't for me. It was for you. Meanwhile, some of our Chinese Americans back in December, they're donating to the Proud Boys. They're donating to people who don't even like you, as I've said before. They do not like you. They do not like what you represent. They do not like your culture. They do not like where you come from. They think you have spread the virus, the China virus, but yet you're giving them money because Black Lives Matter. We just don't like what they did last summer, and and they burned some buildings, and we think that they're socialists, and we don't want communism, and so we believe that you're really going to help us and protect us. That democracy, that's what you're fighting for. Yeah. Not all Asians, just the ones that donated. These are the people I'm talking to. Meanwhile, on January 6th, these same people that you voted for democracy, once again, they stormed the Capitol, a violent, murderous mob wanting to kill and hang the Vice President of the United States, kill the Speaker of the House, kill, any Democrat that they could probably get their hands on. Meanwhile, you have people inside of the Capitol who are supposed to represent, people in their state, like the Ted Cruzes, the Josh Hawleys, the Marco Rubios, holding up fists. Yeah, we're for you. Yeah. Okay. So I tell you, you come step in my shoes for a year. You deal with some of the crap that I have to deal with. that people who look like me have to deal with, that my friends, my family, people I don't know have to deal with. You know, why, you know, are you really going to stop me because I have an expired tag? The escalation does not come from the people that you stop. The escalation comes from the people who are stopping, who are doing, who are, making the arrest, pulling you out of your car, telling you to put your hands behind your back, pepper spraying you in the face while you have your hands outside of your car door, outside of your window. Your hands are, you're saying, what did I do? What did I do? And you pepper spray someone. You wouldn't do that to a white person. You know you wouldn't do it to a white person. You have a young girl who, whether or not she called the police or not, yes, she had a knife. Did you really have to shoot her? You couldn't have tased her, tackled her? If she were white, you would have tried to talk her down, but she wasn't. She was Black. So that's one more Black person that we don't have on this earth, in this country, on this earth. So I wonder how many more of us, as I've said before, are not going to make it to December 31st, 2021. How many of us are not going to make it to see New Year 2022? I wonder if my son's going to make it. As I've said before, my son hasn't driven a car in 2 years. He does not want to drive. He is afraid to drive. And as I've said before, on one hand, I'm happy about that because I know he's not out there having to deal with this. But on the other hand, he's like a prisoner. Walk in our shoes. Deal with the level of discrimination that we have to deal with when we go to restaurants, when we go to stores. I was following around the store, one time, and while they're following me, I'm watching, two white women steal. I'm in Macy's in Beverly Hills. And while they're following me, I'm looking at these two white women steal, took their stuff, walked out of the store. On the one hand, it was funny, but on the other hand, it pissed me off. Or the Asian stores that I've gone into to buy hair product. And the discrimination that I faced there. You may think that, it's not that big of a deal. All you're doing is just going to buy some shampoo or something like that. The fact is that it happened. Guess what? I don't frequent Asian stores anymore. I buy my products someplace else. It just amazes me how much we have to deal with. As I referenced yesterday, and someone asked me a question yesterday on the show, but one of my friends that I grew up with, who is a very successful news anchor in Chicago, and she got into an altercation with another person who worked at the same station. She went to HR. The other person was let go. But one of my so-called friends, because I'm still trying to decide where this relationship is, one of my so-called white friends wanted to know, well, what kind of person is she? What is she like? How is she really? And when I mentioned how smart she was, very smart, very, very smart, he seemed to get offended because I said that he was smart. See, we're not supposed to be smart. Black folks are not supposed to be smart. We're supposed to be stupid. We're supposed to be dumb. And he seemed to be, get offended because I said she was smart. And then he went on to question me. Well, just because you have a degree, it doesn't make you smart. Yeah, that's true. There are some dumb people who probably have degrees. You're absolutely right. She's not one of them. She is not one of them. And the same person has questioned me over the years. And, when we get into conversations about race, it's like I have to cut it off because it just totally, excuse me. I need to plug in before I go off. When we talk about race, his conversation is so incredibly demeaning that I've gotten to the point where, nope, not going to talk about race anymore. We're not going to talk politics, no race. We can talk about movies. We can talk about TV. We can talk about the weather. But politics and race, because whenever he talks about Black people, especially young Black people, we all come from single family or single parent homes where the mother is so downtrodden, and it's disgusting, and someone just made a comment about questioning, how white people would question how intelligent the Obamas were. Not only were they intelligent, but they raised two intelligent girls. Their children are intelligent. Their entire, family, they're educated. They're educated people. When Barack Obama first started running for president, Harry Reid said, that he approves of Obama because he's well-spoken. What does that mean? Did you say that Bill Clinton was well-spoken? Did you say John F. Kennedy was well-spoken? Ronald Reagan was well-spoken? But Barack Obama was well-spoken. As opposed to what? We're not supposed to be able to speak in comprehensive sentences. White people truly need to go through a phase or through a transition where they're Black. You need to be Black for 1 year. And I mean the whole thing. Like you wake up one day like the Watermelon Man. And you remember that movie with Geoffrey Cambridge back in the 70s. He's a white man. Then one day he wakes up and he's black. I advise everyone to see that movie. Even though it's a comedy, it still had a message behind it. Wake up one day and you are black. And go through your daily life and see the challenges that you would have to face just because of the color of your skin. You're still the same person. You still grew up a certain way. You still went to the same school. You may even have the same job. Drive the same car. Have the same friends. The only difference is you're black. And there's a lot of those Karens out there, and even some of these Kens, you wouldn't last a week. You probably wouldn't last a day if you ran into a problem or some issues, all because of the color of your skin. I mean, imagine trying to just go out for a jog, just a jog, and you get shot. Or you're out just at a park, I'm at a park, minding my own business, and someone comes up to you, questioning you, why are you there? And you're like, just minding my own business, you stay over there, I'll stay over there. And then someone picks up the phone and they call the police saying, this black person is threatening me. They're threatening me. And then when all these stories go viral, they give these half-ass, half-hearted apologies. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm really not like that. That's not me. It's you. Because if it wasn't you, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. If it wasn't you, you wouldn't have said what you said. You wouldn't pick up the phone and blatantly lie and say, they're threatening me, or I fear for my life. I mean, we're not supposed to buy homes in certain neighborhoods, or if we do buy a home in certain neighborhoods, we're questioned. Do you live here? Why are you here? Is this your house? Well, I know the people who live here. No, you don't, because I just bought it. If you knew the people, then you would know me. Do you live in this building? Let me see your key fob. What is your name? What unit do you live in? Really? It's none of your business. Just go on about your business and leave me alone. Just be black for 1 year. Let your children be black and go to school and deal with some of the crap that some of these other kids are calling African Americans. And again, I'm not talking, about Asians or Hispanics, whatever. I'm talking about being black. And I say to Hispanics and Asians, be black for a year. Because what you experience and what we experience, they are two entirely different things. Two entirely different things. How do I know? Because I deal with it all the time. Even from some of your friends, some of your white friends, when they say some ignorant shit. When they're trying to be woke. And they just come across looking stupid. I've had to call out some people, and I don't have a problem doing it. And I guess that's one thing that I like about the generation that's coming up now. You know, I came up during, you know, born during civil rights and, you know, what have you. And we're going to pray about it, you know, turn the other cheek, whatever. But the younger crowd today, the younger kids today, they're like, this is wrong. I'm not taking this. They're taking our struggle to the next level. And at first I didn't agree, but now I do. Push the envelope. You know, we have to fight for our rights. We have to fight for the right to vote. You know, I don't live in an area where when I go vote, I'm standing in line for hours at a time. I could pretty much just go in and vote. But, you know, I vote by mail now. You know, last couple of elections, you know, I vote by mail. But even for some of the times when I didn't turn my ballot in and I had to go, you know, to the voting, to the polling place, I didn't have to stand in line. But for the African Americans who do have to stand in line, who are standing in line for 6 and 7 hours, who are standing in line, you know, the polling place closes at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, they're still standing in line. You know, I appreciate that now we have more younger people who are standing in line. And for all of these states who have made it damn near impossible trying to keep us from voting, you're going to be surprised in 22. And you're going to be surprised in 24. Because the lines are going to be even longer. And people are going to be waiting even longer. And people are going to be willing to get arrested to bring a bottle of water or to bring food. People are going to be willing to get arrested because they took Mrs. Jones, who's 80 years old and has a hard time getting around, that they took her from her home to the polls. People are going to be willing to, you know, get arrested for just trying to help their fellow neighbor vote. I mean, think about that. How many white people have to worry about whether or not their vote is going to be challenged, or the area that they live in, that they'll have less ballot boxes, less drop-off boxes. You know, no drive-by drop-offs. Why not? Are you that afraid of our vote? Yeah, you are. Because you have to cheat. And you have to make up rules, these asinine rules and laws that, in my opinion, by the time the election rolls around, are pretty much going to be shot down by the courts because they're unconstitutional. You know, and even if they're not, even if some of them, you know, still stick, like I said, the lines are going to be long. People are going to get in line and they're going to stand in line. And they're going to wait. And they're going to wait, and they're going to wait until they're able to vote. And if anyone tries to change that vote and says that vote is not, you know, legal, and tries to throw it out, it's going to be more problems. But all these laws are created because of people who look like me. So once again, you know, if I could wave a magic wand, I would make it where every white person in America, every Asian person in America, every Hispanic person in America, every Indian person in America, because Indians, they have that caste system, which I think is ridiculous. You know, wake up one morning and you are Black. You are African American for 1 year, and you cannot do anything about it until that 1 year is up. But meanwhile, you know, in fact, I will have everybody in America, every white person in America turn Black, because we still have to have our white police officers. We still have to have the Ted Cruzes and the Josh Hawleys, you know, and the Kevin McCarthy's. We still have to have them around to make snide remarks. We still got to have the Proud Boys around, you know, so they can, you know, beat people up. So you know, these Karens will be some of the ones that, you know, get some of the vitriol from some of these hate groups. But my point is to experience it. And I don't think not one white person in America would ever want to be Black. You may get Botox, you know, to plump up your lips and plump up your butt. You may date, you know, or marry an African American. But when it comes down to it, if you had the choice to be Black or white, which one would you choose? Come on, which one would you choose? You would want to be white, because being white has its privileges. You have privilege when you're white. You can usually, you know, go places without question when you're white. You can go in stores and not, you know, have to worry about being followed because you're white. You don't have to worry about, you know, I would say back in the day with sundown towns, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But then we have sundown towns as early as 2000, 2010, we have sundown towns. This is the 21st century. Why in the hell do we have a sundown town? I mean, imagine going someplace and if you worked in this particular town and it was a sundown town and they said, you better get out of here before sundown or else. And that or else usually meant you were either beaten or you were killed, literally, because you didn't get out of that town before sundown. Can you imagine? All because of the color of your skin? And we're talking sundown towns for people who work as domestics, people who were maids, you know, worked in someone's home. I don't care. You better get out of town before sundown. Literally. So I just say for 1 year, you need to be Black. For 1 year, let someone question your intelligence, question where you went to school, question whether or not, you know, you have the right to be somewhere, the right to walk down a particular street, the right to drive, the right to be in your own house sleeping without police officers breaking in and killing you. And then after they kill you, after they shoot you and possibly kill you, they don't call for medical help. Or you're falling asleep in a Wendy's parking lot. And instead of just getting a warning and saying, okay, go home, or call someone to come pick you up, you end up getting shot. Or you're trying to stop an altercation between two other people and the police are called. You're going to check on your children in the car and a police officer shoots you point blank range 7 times in the back. And by the grace of God, you survive. But then you're taken to the hospital and you're chained to your hospital bed and you've been shot in the back 7 times. Where the hell are you going to go? You're going to get up and make a run for it? Where the hell are you going to go? Or Walter Scott and his murderer is trying to get out of prison now. Walter Scott is running away from a cop. Cop already knew where he lived. He already knew who he was. Already knew that. Walter Scott starts running away. And he's shot in the back. Shot in the back. And then the police try to spin that. But thank goodness, once again, we have someone who filmed it. If that person were white, he never would have been shot in the back, but he never would have been in that situation in the first place. More than likely, he probably never would have been stopped. Philando Castile, shot dead in front of his 4-year-old daughter. If he were white, he would have had a warning if he were stopped. And for all these people who are calling the police on people who look like me, oh, there's a Black girl walking down the street. There's a, Black man walking down the street. This person, they're in our pool. Well, I live here. I have the right to be in this pool. No, you don't. No, you don't. I've never seen you. This is the line that I love the most. I've never seen you. I don't know who you are. So what? That gives you the right to call the police on me? So let's flip it. Let's make it where you're in the situation for 1 year. For all this shit that's going on with us, it goes on with you, with your children, with your family. That every time your children get into the car to drive to the store or to their friend's house, to or from work, and they don't make it home. And if they do make it home, they're being assassinated in their driveway. How about that? Or let's go back to the 1950s. Just somebody like Emmett Till. Go visit relatives down south. And a white woman says, he whistled at me. So the fuck what? He whistled at you. Who the hell cares? You know how many white men whistle at Black women. I've had white men, my friends' husbands, who have come on to me and their wives are standing 5 feet away. And this 14-year-old boy, he whistled. So they take him, beat the shit out of him, kill him, and leave him. Let's do that to you. How would you feel if that happened to your child? I mean, Emmett Till happened before I was born, but now I'm old enough to where he's still 14 years old. He never grew up. So it's like Emmett Till could have been my child. And when I think about Emmett Till, I think of him as my child. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm pissed off. I'm angry. I'm mad. But I'm also very, very sad. And it just makes you just, every day you just have to breathe. You know, every day I have a devotion that pops up on my phone every morning. One of the first things I see every morning when I look at my phone. And I have these little quotes that come through. And those are things that help me just breathe, because there's always something when it comes to us, is always something. Can we please make it through a week? I'm not even asking for a day, you know, for a week. Can we make it through a month without one of us getting dead? At the hands of the police, or having to deal with discrimination. And see, everything's not reported. So a lot of things don't even make the news. You know, our, young boys and girls go missing. Well, did they run away? Oh, okay. Well, we'll look when we have time. But if that young boy or girl were white, it would be all over the national news. And you know this, this is a fact. You know what I'm talking is the truth. So let's flip it. Let's make it your son or daughter that goes missing. Let's make it your son or daughter that doesn't make it home. Let's make it your mother, father, grandparents who are, at church, at a prayer meeting, and some coward decides to kill them, assassinate them, murder them while they're having prayer. Let's make it your family. I've said it once, I'm gonna say it again. If Dylann Roof had been Black, one thing I know for sure, he sure as hell wouldn't have had Burger King. He sure as hell would not have walked out with a bulletproof vest. He may not have walked out at all. The only time white people are really in the line of fire is during mass shooting. But then again, they're getting killed by usually one of their own. That's when you all are usually in the line of fire. But we're in the line of fire all the time. And I'm not just talking about a bullet. I'm talking about actions. I'm talking about words. We are constantly in the line of fire. We're constantly trying to move around and get in a better position because somebody's knee is on our neck in one way or another. We are not stupid people. We are educated people. And as I said yesterday, I used to work for a company where it was very much the old boys network. And the people who were being promoted, the white people who were being promoted into these management positions, they didn't have degrees. Very few of them did. The majority of the people with degrees were Black. The majority of the people who were educated, and when I say educated, I'm not talking about elementary school to high school, whatever. I'm talking about secondary, college, university, whatever you want to call it. They were Black. They were people who looked like me. I come from a two-family household, two-parent household. The people that I know and knew growing up came from two-family, I keep saying two-family, two-parent households. And even when I went to college and started meeting people who came from a single-parent household, that parent, they were educated. I mean, I used to work with someone who, she was down and out on her luck a lot, but she was smart. She knew her job, and she knew her job better than most, and she definitely knew her job better than white people. So why you get ready to pigeonhole us and put us in these stereotypes, come join us for a year. Come look like me. Be the watermelon man or the watermelon woman. I guarantee you won't like it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of my culture. I mean, the continent of Africa was the only thing that was here. When God made Adam and Eve, he was on the continent of Africa. Jesus, he was a man of color. He had hair like wool. I come from kings and queens. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of my people. Because we are smart. And we are strong, especially Black women. Because we had to be strong. We're still cleaning up after your shit. I'm glad I'm a Black woman. I wouldn't want to be anything else. But I bet that white woman over there wouldn't want to be a Black woman. I bet that white man over there would not want to be a Black man. I bet your two little white kids would not want to be two Black kids. Nope. Come on over to my side and see what it's like. And again, don't get me wrong. It's not, I'm not saying that every day is a bad day, whatever, because most of my days, I have very good days. Today is a good day. But when I have to deal with racial crap, when I have to listen to it, when I see it, I'm past shaking my head. because we should not be dealing with this in the year 2021. But we are. We are. And until we can come to some kind of reconciliation or, a way, to get out of this situation we're in. And the only way we're going to get out of it is if white people and Asians and Hispanics admit that there's a problem. But mainly white people have to admit it. You have to do, because we already know that America is a racist country. Racism is built into the DNA of this country. It is. And for anyone to say otherwise, like for Senator Tim Scott, he ought to be ashamed of himself. I was embarrassed for him. Racism is very much a part of this country. And it will continue to be a part of this country as long as we have people like him co-signing for the very people who don't like you, for the very people who are keeping you down. Senator Tim Scott's speech was hard to watch. It was very hard to watch. And as I said, I was embarrassed for him. I was embarrassed for my race. But if that's his view, that's fine. I personally think that he was being used by the very people who were trying to keep us down. But, that's him. If that's what he thinks, that's his opinion. But again, I say, come on over to our side for 1 year. And when that 1 year is over, you'll be begging and crying, saying, I want to be white again. I want to be white. Because we go through a lot of stuff. We go through a lot of crap. We deal with a lot of crap. If we're not dealing with it personally, we know somebody who is. And when it happens to them, it happens to us. Because that hatred and vitriol and discrimination is toward all of us. When it happens to one, it happens to us all. So, someone just said, about pure hate, an excuse to wipe a generation from this world, an excuse to wipe all of us from this world. America will never be white people. It never will. It never was. And one culture that I purposely left out was Native Americans. The Native American Indians, they are the ones who are really being screwed over. The first ones who were screwed over. Those are the ones who I would be proud to march next to. They're still waiting for their freedom. So Native Americans, more power to you. Those are the people who have really gone through a lot of crap. Yeah, we were slaves. But what they went through, and 1619 will happen, people. 1619 is going to happen. The 1619 project is going to happen because we are so ingrained in this country. We are so ingrained in this country. Whatever history you have, we're right there. And I say it all the time. You can't go anywhere in this country. You can't talk any history in this country without tripping over one of us. We are part of your family. We're part of your history. We're not going anywhere. And 1619 will happen. As much as you want to say that it won't, any laws, whatever, it is going to happen. So on that note, my hour is up. Thank you for listening. And as I always say, speak your truth, because it's the only thing that you have. And vote. Make sure you vote. Make your voice heard. So again, thank you very much. You can see my other shows on YouTube, Solid Blue Sister, and I will have another topic tomorrow. Speak your truth and have a good day. Bye.